Welcome back everyone to Piney Plays a Stout Minstrel. We are here back at the Glassblowers camp where they're going to be needing some new supplies. Hello there, a touch of
Good
red.
day. Might I have a word with you?
You want me to get some scales from salamanders for red dye. Oh, that sounds like it's going to be fun. And you need some blue from what?
Stay and have some tea.
River stones stolen by goblins. Yes, of course. And you?
Might I have a word with you?
Oh, we use the salamander scales for materials to grind down to make glass, and for that, they're important to us. But since Swelling has been filled with big folk, they haven't been focused on gathering materials as they were before. This is called salamanders to run rampant, so collect salamander teeth while you're collecting their scales, I guess, right? Right. So normally, the hobbits used the salamanders as a resource, but now that they're not collecting them as resources from them, they're getting out of control. All right, a bit of sparkle.
Good day. Might I have a word with you?
Yes, the most challenging part of making glass is to getting it to sparkle just so. You don't want to do it with all glass, but most you do. If you found some Nimraffin, collect essence from Nimraffin. Okay. And some green.
Hello there. Might I speak with you a moment?
Yes, I need some Norbog shells for green dye. Oh, good grief. A crease in Nerbig.
Might I speak with you a moment?
I haven't lived here for a great time, minstrel, and haven't studied the behavior of many of the local creatures. Oh, you have here lived for more time. Yes, listen to me then. When I tell you that the great danger of breeding among the sands of Barrandov, I speak of Nerbig, the vile insects that can be found now among the dunes in great numbers. If you do not do something, and quickly, I fear the Nerbig will swarm, and whatever the swarm north or south is immaterial, for there will be a good people in both directions. All right, so we need to kill Nearbig. Wonderful. But you notice, he doesn't ask you to go around killing stuff, at least until somebody's told you to collect something from them. I guess that's good news. I must admit that I wasn't expecting the Nearbig to be gathering right at the entrance, all anxious to be the first victim. But I'm willing to go with that. Defeated Sand Nearbig in Barrandov. So let's. Oh, and we of course get our Norbox shell so that we could get our green dye. Because we want to have all our colors so that no matter what color they order, we'll be able to have it in stock. Oh, and did I just see a salamander for some? Salamander shells? Or scales, 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 scales. See, they all want all sorts of different body parts. Yikes. Aha! I found the Limraffin, and those are always the tricky ones to find because while you have salamanders all over the area, and oh, I forgot that there's a deed for these crazy things. You have salamanders everywhere. You've got the Nearbig everywhere. But Limraffin, I always have. Usually I only find Limraffin when I'm not looking for Limraffin, so to speak. Hmm. Well, for a moment there I thought something was coming after him. It just must have been a trick of the shadow with the... I did put the swirlies on here, didn't I? No, I forgot to put the swirlies on it. Oh well. I've managed to collect all of my Norbog shells, and I've also managed to kill the burrowing ones, at least enough of those, but I still need to find some huge ones. They're always the tricky ones because they're way up north, and finding them has always been, especially when they do that to you. Jump into the ground before you have a chance to get much done. You gotta go la 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 la. There you go. Ooh, a Limraffin. Oopsie daisy. Oh, I forgot that they have these little broodlings that they like to bring out. Tells you how much I actually go against those things. There you go. Still collecting essences also. I'm beginning to think that the Limraffin like to hang out with the huge ones. Maybe that's why I've always had so much trouble with them. I keep on trying to look for them up north, and you do find them occasionally up in north, but they seem to be more concentrated down here, and I don't know if that is just a random spawning today, or if I just have been failing to notice it after all this time. Back to the goblin camp, where we've got spear flingers, who I presume are going to throw spears at me, but give me nice blue little river stones here, which are what I'm looking for. And after I collect these, I should have plenty of materials for the glass blowers. I'm back after collecting all their stuff. A bit of sparkle.
How do you do?
I still do not understand how these essences work. Perhaps one day I will, but for now, all we need to know is that they make glass sparkle. Right.
How do you do?
And some green. Yeah, these will do. Good. And some red.
A lovely day, isn't it?
These scales will do perfectly. I'll begin grinding them down at once. Okay? And, of course,
How do you do?
some blue. And I took care of those near big.
What do you need?
And, of course, I have these teeth for you.
Just a moment.
These are most impressive, Pine Beater. The teeth are very sharp indeed. Take my thanks with the knowledge that they have made the Barrendorf safer for all of us hobbits. You're welcome. Oh, yes, of course.
Please, stay a moment.
My assistants tell me that all the supplies have been gathered, and we are able to at once make more glass. Thank you for your help there. Blowing glass is an art, one that can be learned quickly, but must be refined over many years of trial and error. I can teach you the basics if you would like to. Head over to the forge. Using this rod, work the glass several times. You should see it start to take shape. Really. All right, here we are at the glass forge. There we go. Whoops. Now let's try a little bit more. Yeah. All right. I was just looking for, I never noticed this touch before, but I see that it does show you putting the hand. The hand is not going perfectly over, I guess because of animation limitations, but it does show the hand making an attempt to cover up the hole on it. If I remember correctly, that is one of the steps you do it because of expanding air and all that stuff. All right. There you go.
Just a moment.
Well, I'm not quite sure what we could do with this. Perhaps it could be used as a tray to ash one's pipe while smoking. A useful thing, if not the most glamorous of objects. In other words, it was bad. Whee! Well, I'm level 33 now. Perhaps it's time for me to head over to TitanBar, which is where I'll meet you. I have arrived in Tinadir, where I wish to speak with Orkawe.
Stay a moment.
The land to the east of here is called the Fields of Twilight. Within it are ruins of several ancient estates. These places were once the home of powerful families within the kingdom. They grew grain and raised animals used to feed the city and provide work for many of the people. Now they are disgraced by robbers, overwhelmed by nature, desecrated by goblins, and now even serves as a camp for a force of Angmar. It is an affront to all who draw their heritage from the shores of this lake. I have detailed in this journal notes about the estates and the threats availing us. Please take it and read it as you explore the fields of Twilight. It will guide you if you choose to help us reclaim these ancient ruins. And one of the main reasons I am taking this series is because it's eventually going to lead to a camp of Angmarim. And the camp of Angmarim is important because I wish to go and see whether or not the Angmarim count as cultists for my enmity deed. And does it even open up at this level? That's what I'm looking to do here. So let's head out to the Twilight Estates. I must say that this bridge is in pretty remarkable shape considering how long most of the other stuff has been in ruins. It either means they had great building or someone is still maintaining them. Perhaps the Warrens of Annuminus are trying to find ways to preserve the bridges at least, even if they can't preserve everything around here. Let's see what the first quest is here. Thumnarbat is the nearest of the ruined estates and has first priority. While the threats of it are not great, they must not be trivialized by their importance. For Tom Nembrant is being reclaimed by nature itself, so I need to defeat elk and tear down some ivy. And I believe that is right up there. Now, I guess the first question is, does this elk count as being one that I need to do? Nope. Well, I guess that's no big surprise. I presume they're actually asking for ones that are inside of there, so that when it switches over to say Thumb Numbarth instead, yeah, instead of Parth Anduil, actually it's already glowing here, so maybe things are starting to count. Well, how about tear down ivy? Well, I suppose that ivy is not some of the ivy they want me to tear down. Perhaps maybe a little bit of ivy is allowed, they just don't want an overabundance of it. New deed, Ruins of Even. Well, that means I did actually step inside of it. So maybe my original hypothesis is the one that's correct. But that means that this elk then will... Oh, well, we do have... Well, this isn't good. I was not expecting a a rare signature to come popping up at me. Yeah. No! Ah. Whew. Yikes. Oh, and get rid of this bleed. Oh, I was standing in caltrops. No wonder! Now, that was a rude interruption. An adamant shard. Yeah, a shard dropper. I had a feeling it was a shard dropper. Let's see. Now for that. Oh, yeah. Oh, it's annoying how those deer like to knock you out. Or elk, I guess. That's one down. Many more to go. Oh, and here's the ivy that I need to handle. So let's just clear out this area. They don't say anything about killing the wolves, but considering that the elk are probably the primary food source for the wolves, I suppose we should also deal with them. There we go. And let's get rid of that cripple and take down more ivy. Ha! What's this? An ancient tapestry. This tapestry is shred. It has been found in the old and faded, but some details of it still can be made out. Perhaps if you find more, it could be of interest to the rangers. So we will also look for little pieces of tapestry. Well, I still have another elk and another piece of ivy to deal with before I finish also. But the first of these is easy to deal with, apparently. There you go. Elk done. Now, one more piece of ivy and several more pieces of tapestry. With that bit taken care of, let's see what's next. The next estate within the fields of Varan. It is a place that is known little about. The records we have found only describes a name. It is an enigma indeed. The only thing I know is that the tomb robbers have been swarming all over it. And given their focus elsewhere, it has been ripe for the picking, and they have slowly stripped it of any valuable information we could find to glean its identity. It is not enough that we battle with nature and time as enemies in our history. We have to deal with greedy robbers who want to deny our past and identity. This cannot be tolerated. Yes. And I believe that is up this way. And I see the ruins up ahead. Here we are at Thomvaran. And are there any tomb robbers around here? Maybe some ranger came in. Oh, there's one right over there. Trying to pick things away. Well, we know how to deal with these. Like that. Next, we have Thom Ornen. You turn your blind eye to a corner of this region for just a moment, and something momentous happens that you missed. Somehow, with all our focus on the Tomb Raiders and brigands to the south, a scouting force from Angmar has slipped into one of the ruins. This is a disaster for us and on several fronts. Something here is of enough value for Angmar to send forces to find it, something we do not know ourselves. If they were to find this thing, it could turn the tides of war. Not to mention that could happen if they find the refuge of Tenadir. If you use that knowledge to somehow find a Stildane, I cannot entertain those thoughts. We must drive them out, and we must sow confusion among those who remain. Their plans have been tracked to the walls of the ruins. If their numbers were thinned and their plans destroyed, perhaps we will stand a greater chance. So then let's go to Thom Ornen, which is, of course, the main area I wanted to go in this series. When I mean series, this particular quest line obviously is not the main thing for the entire dwarf series. That's the main thing there is to get to Mordor and see how I work with the stout axes there. Aha! We have finally arrived. Now my first Angmar. And what's the answer to my question? New deed, invaders from Angmar. Well, I guess I was expecting that, right? New deed, markers of the sunken city. New deed, enmity of the cultists. That answers my question finally. Of course, that means I'm going to have to deal with quite a number of Angmar all throughout my travels. And that helps to decide about what I want to do before the inevitable... Actually, using a valor might not be inevitable, but that is one of the options that I was considering on this matter, is using a valor to get to the stout axes faster. Now let's see. We need to head this way to get to the orders. I'll probably have to wipe out this camp a few times. Or of course go to Numinous, because the Numinous will have plenty of these cultists. Good. Now I don't know what else is going to count as cultists. I figure the Angmar will. And I'm guessing that maybe the sorcerers in Mirkwood will. So that means Mirkwood's a likely source. This area here, Angmar is obviously going to be a good source. And I'm guessing that if you go into the past, the Mordorim might be. Especially since some of them are referred to as cultists even within the quests. Now that I have the cultists opened up, I'm wondering what my other enmity is, and from what I can tell, it's supposed to be orcs. Now you may be saying, but I've killed plenty of orcs before I never triggered it, especially in the Lonelands. But what I hear is that it doesn't open up till 35. I'm now 36, so I thought, let's try running this little skirmish here and see what I've got. New deed, enmity of the orcs. Well, that answers that question. So that's our other enmity. Then we have enmity of the orcs and enmity of the cultists. And it's obviously one that's gotten later because I'm pretty sure I killed at least one orc after getting 29. So it'd be after probably 30 or 35 then. And there won't be a third enmity because I had several of them that were auto-granted, and that doesn't leave room for a third. But I think that's it for now concerning the Stout Axe. And while I was wondering about heading up to Mordor and using an Ari or something like that, now that I think of it, I think the next place where I really need to go is to Moria. If I said Moria before, I meant Mordor there, obviously, since that's where stout axes are from. But I was wondering about Moria, where you have all the Longbeards and stuff like that. How are they going to react to a stout axe coming there trying to help them? Therefore, I am going to be leveling up to 50, and I'm going to be doing that during the month of December, because I won't have time in which to do any stout axe episodes then, most likely, because I have the other series that I'm doing, the one in Minas Morgul. So I'm going to take a break from videos on the Stout Axe, and I'll be returning in January, where we are going to be resuming, I hope, at the gates of Moria. So until then, this is Pineleaf Needles reminding you to skirmish responsibly.